God. Another wonderful day, another fine day. And growing up, um, so many things happen. Growing up, so many things, we saw so many things happen. Growing up, we lived so many things. Growing up, whether it was positive or it was negative, it just happened. Um, I'm grown, I'm an adult, I'm getting older, and I realize uh, some of those things, in as much as we felt like they were negative, they were probably just regular things. And even some of the things people made us believe were positive, you realize, okay, I don't even think they were even necessary. Um, we grew up in a community where, because people were ignorant, because people did not know as much as we know today, or the few people who knew this and that did not even want to speak, because if you wanted to talk, they'll probably, oh, who be you for talk? You know how in our communities, if you're young, you cannot have an opinion. It's only the elders, only the older people, the gray guys that can make decisions, that can make suggestions, and all of that. Now, the most beautiful thing about today is the fact that um, educating yourself is just one step away from you. You can go online, you can talk to people, you can read books, you can, and we have accumulated a whole so many years already to have learned a lot. Nothing is best than when we have people who have experience, and they have learned. So not just about their experience, but they have done research, and coming to share ideas with us, coming to have conversations with us on things that um, it's going to be interesting. Boss, welcome to Toride again.
Thank you, boss. I'm getting used to this boss name.
Yeah,
How did
boss.
you get it from?
Yeah, boss.
So,
Yeah, boss.
in the first two times, I thought it was just, I mean, I've listened to Toride so many times. I think it's just the word, I hope it's just the word you use for everyone.
No. I don't use it for everyone. That's the I will not say misconception. That's one thing people feel like I do, but I don't do that. I don't call
Really?
no, I don't call everyone boss.
Hey, so,
Okay, there are people I work with, and I'll not even refer to them. I'll not even want to use their name. We just work, and I'll
okay.
just be like, okay, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do that?
All
And
right.
I just go my way, and you go your way. So I'll never call you boss. You understand? I'll never want to even call you by a name, because I don't want you to be, okay, why is it that you're calling me by my name, but every other person you call them boss? So
I see.
we'll just do whatever we're doing until
I
we are
see.
done. When I call people boss, to be honest, um, it's coming from my heart. It's
Okay.
either because I admire something about them, admire what they do. It can be what they're doing. Definitely, 98% of the time, it's about what they're doing for the community. By the way, the
Mm,
community starts with you. So when I
right.
talk about community, it's not like you must go out there and serve people and do all these wonderful things. No, for me,
Right.
once you can start doing something for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and I know whatever you're doing for yourself in the long run is helping our community, you become a boss.
Wow, thank you. And I must also give you your roses. So, you're a boss. You're the boss of all bosses in the bringing our community together and sharing a lot. So, like, one thing I've noticed about Toride is the ability to shine the light where you're looking at like where we came from. There's so many times we come here and we get carried away. We just go on and live the life of here and just relax and lean back and forget a lot of the things that we went through back home or our people that are doing significant things too. So you're putting 237 out there. So thank you.
I'm happy you talk about 227. By 227, we're talking about Africa. So
Cameroon. That's the area code. Area code. Is it what is it? Area, not area code. The
country code.
country code.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Today is different. Today is different, and it's a topic that I've wanted to have the conversation, but did not know who to talk to until on a phone call one time. Me and you were going back and forth, and then for some reason we started talking about that. Um, yeah, like I was saying earlier, we come from a community where so many funny things happened.
Uh-huh.
And most of these things we even got to realize they were funny now that we are older. Back in the days, we joke about a pasamoto eating a specific kind of
Right.
persons. Back in the days, we joke about, you remember this kid that was born 7 months ago? Where are they? You're like, oh, we don't know. And then one grandfather will tell you that they dropped them somewhere near a stream, and then the Mbuma came and took them because they were Mbuma and this and that. Back in the days, we had stories of, this person went to the bush and they disappeared because they were this kind of way,
Yeah.
and that is food for the gods and all of these things. And
Right.
it's horrible. By the way, what's your thought on some of these things, especially when you were growing up?
Um, when I was growing up, I was born in Boya, so of course the Pasamoto stories were the most of the ones that we used to hear when the mountain was trembling. They'll say, they need to go appease Ipasamoto and things like that. I left Cameroon after. Since then, I've not really thought about it. But growing up, I just knew that there was something like that, and that again, talking about the boma in the river, or the crocodiles, or somebody is a tiger, somebody is a pig, like
An elephant.
yeah, an elephant in the bush, or somebody is sick, they say, oh, they don't shoot the elephant,
Yeah.
or they don't do this, or not say this. So those are the things that I grew up hearing. Of course, I never, at that age, we were never, the way we were thinking back then, it was never, we didn't have the investigative minds that we have now, where we try to understand these things from the perspective, like where exactly did all these things come from? But now growing up as an adult, like if you had asked me what I was thinking then, nothing. If anything, just being afraid that there's some Apasamoto somewhere, you have to be mindful. I remember when I was going to the mountain and, I made it to her two. It was one of my friends who helped me, push me up there. His name is Gobina Simon. I don't know if you know him. He's from Boya. Well, he got me to her two. So we were like basically pushing. That's as far as I went. I never went up, but I believe that up there, at some point, if you go higher enough, you might encounter a Pasamoto and things like that. But I never investigated the thing further at that time. But sitting here, and also I've not even thought about it ever since, honestly. But now that you're asking me and I'm thinking, and what I know, I'm just kind of playing it, trying to run it by things that I know now about spirituality, about all these things that happen. I think all of these things are rooted in something very concrete. So it's just things that we're not privy to know. And I do believe that we're all spirits, just having a human experience in this earth school. I will always call it that. So if we're all spirits having a human experience, there is such a world that is not visible to the eye.
Now, I think the other thing I was going to ask you, all my concern about, especially about those topics, is the fact that sometimes, like I said, most of whatever was said was misinformation, or people decided to manipulate and all of that. Now, what do you think has been the role of misinformation in our community for the many years?
So when it comes to misinformation, we go back to the intent, right? What was the reason behind people spreading or giving that version of the information without seeking the truth? I know one thing that's common with us is we don't do research. We don't go to do a deep dive into topics to really read and find concrete literature out there that supports what we're trying to say, right? Plainly because maybe back home or more in Africa, things were kept in the mind. It was told by way of stories where it was passed on like that, where we don't have a concrete way that these things were recorded. In most of the areas, maybe Cameroon, for example, even though I do know that there were certain things that have been, documented extensively. And some of the stories were just told around the fireside, or people passed on certain things that they heard their grandfather say it, He said, I heard it from my father heard it from his grandfather, great grandfather, and just keep going back, back, back. And it was just passed on that way. And we all know how when information is passed on like that, it goes through the lens of my opinion about it or my interpretation of it. And we did a study, not a study, we did an exercise where we had about 20 people, and the first person whispered something in the ear of that person and then say, turn around and tell the next person, turn around and tell the next person. Don't say it out, just say it where only the person that you're telling it to will hear. And it kept going until they brought the first person and the last person together and say, what did you say? And then what did that person, the last person finally heard? And you realize that it's like, if not even opposite of what the person was trying to say. So I say all of this to say that stories that is being passed on, honestly, I've not done extensive research into all of that. Like, is it true or not true? That is there really a Pasamoto up there or not? Or are there really people who can be here and then be an elephant in the bush? Are there really people? Are there really crocodiles in the river that run things? Are there people? These are worlds that I've not explored extensively. But when I say knowing what I know now, I do believe that there's such a world as the spirit world. I have a strong belief. And the details of how what exactly is it that was being told about how the Epasamoto story came about, I honestly have not done extensive research around that. But what I want to say for sure in general terms is that no matter what you do, try to have a mind that would be open to explore that there is such a thing as spiritual, there's a spirit world that is out there, and that is just a realm that is different from the physical realm.
Now,
and the two interact.
Okay, I come from a group of people who, growing up, we were called all sorts of things. Sometimes they said we were never going to, we don't grow above 1 meter. They said our sisters were this or that, or pigs. Man, it's crazy. I don't even know if at one point in time I had low self-esteem because of that, but I know, especially in my community, you hear so many of them, or so many of us saying, oh, I grew up as an introvert. Bro, you were supposed to be an introvert because you did not even feel comfortable saying who you were in a place where others were. The conversation we're going to have today is so important to me because in as much as it's on a specific issue, I still feel like if you just take the name out, so many people are suffering from situations that are related to either people not really knowing what is happening, but then they just go out there and just put out whatever they want to put out based on their personal opinion, not even research.
Right.
By the way, have you ever been in that situation where there was something about you that you felt like, okay, I'm not comfortable with this, or someone tried to make you feel like this thing about you is not normal, it's not regular?
I'm trying to think. Let me go back. Like a specific thing. I do remember someone sending me a post. I think I was in, was it Costa Rica? Yeah, Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica and I was just walking by the beach. I actually, I think I love the water. I like to walk without my shoes on. I like the feel. I like to walk in it. I like to swim a lot. So water makes me feel comfortable. So I was walking. I had an outfit, that was showing this that you see here. And I think later on I had a comment. Somebody sent me a message, and said, "Oh, you're so courageous. You just effortlessly just flaunt your keloid without, like no remorse or nothing." And for me, I'm like, wait a minute, like this is not something that I should be feeling bad about. It's not something that I should worry about. So I think that was one area where somebody was trying to make it look like you're supposed to cover it or something, or I'm supposed to feel bad about it, or I'm not supposed to just be walking and just be okay that it's there. So I don't know.
I think I like the fact we were going to talk about. Maybe we should focus on that because it kind of like it relates to what I was trying to talk about earlier. And me particularly, I have this thing. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, it's probably okay. It's not focusing. Okay, now it's focusing. You see my finger? It's really small, and it was never there. It was never there until one point in time I noticed something small, and then with time, for like 15 years now, it's this. I don't know what it would look like in 30, 40 years. I'm waiting to see. We grew up with people who actually had like sixth finger, and people will even interpret, oh, they are witch. That's their finger in the witch world, and things like that. Why do you think, especially in your case, someone who, that's a killer, right? Why would you think someone would want to, I don't know, interpret it or make it look like it's something that you were not supposed to show off to the world?
If I'm thinking correctly, some of the reasons why somebody might think that it's not okay, it's just because of the this era that we live in, when people are looking at perfection, where they say, oh, you know, things normal in normal chest area shouldn't have a raised scar like this, right? So this is not healing properly. All of this is happening because something is happening that is not supposed to be happening. But my take on that was that being ashamed of it, or not wanting to show it or hiding it shouldn't be a thing, because this right here, I didn't make it happen. I didn't do anything to it, or it's not like something that I should be ashamed of. It's just happened based on the genes I have. That's how my scars heal. And so people look at it because of the body image thing, you know, how people are very mindful how the things look like. It's the same scenario with a young kid dealing with acne. And we know the significant psychological effect it has, because that's their face. And every time you look at them, they're mindful, or they feel worried that you're just looking at the scar, the acne on their face. And we know when you're hitting puberty in this age range, so many people, I used to have acne too, like significant. And as you grow, it kind of goes away. Some people, it stays until their adulthood and it stays with them. But there's the same kind of thing where people naturally will be too mindful and be like, it's not supposed to be there, it's supposed to be smooth. If you look at everybody's chest, you don't just see the scar there, it's not supposed to be there. So most people have always tried to be very mindful and cover it and hide it, and even feel stressed out about it and have low self-esteem about it. You know, so many people feel like they can't go out there and wear two-piece bikini. I wore a two-piece bikini with this on there. At times I even forget that it's there until something rubs on it, or at times, like now that it's growing significantly, which is now getting my attention more, then I'm noticing that it's there. At times I don't even notice, especially if I'm not looking at myself in the mirror, that it's there. But some people, just for the body image thing, we're flaunting a lot of perfect bodies out here nowadays. There's this misconception about, you know, what this associating with somebody's self-esteem. So there's that reason why people might want to hide it, that if nobody knows that it's there, then it doesn't really affect my self-esteem like that, right? Which I strongly, which is why I feel like it's something that we need to talk about, so that it can help somebody who's going through something like that. Because keloids are common, especially in the pigmented, in our skin color, darker skin tones. We have people especially who have that, and you shouldn't be any way, shape, or form feel bad about it, or have low self-esteem because of or body image concerns or things like that. Except, like I said, if it's causing discomfort and pain, which is also not something that you should be ashamed of.
Now, is it even possible to know how we get to having something like that? How
Yes. So these have actually been studied extensively. So it's just the excess collagen production. So when your body gets injured, right, the body produces that collagen to build that skin back, to build back your skin. So you know how you have a wound, and then at times it heals to the point where you start saying, you tell somebody that, oh, I was in an accident, or I was, something happened. You say, what's that? That's, you try to even find it, you can't find it. The body heals itself naturally, right? But with somebody who has the defective genes, I'll call it, or the healing happens, there's too much collagen production. So it heals, and then it does what we call, it heals beyond the borders, like the areas where it's supposed to, and then it starts growing. And now the sad thing is, any kind of disturbance to that thing, it heals even more. So that's what causes that constant growth. It keeps growing. Because I have one here, and then I have one right where my bra strap runs. And every time my bra, at times, if it's rubbing on it, digging in it, it just kind of causes discomfort. And
I need to heal myself.
It heals again too much. And then before you know it, it's bigger. Like if I show you pictures of this, before there was nothing there at all. 7 years ago, there was nothing. There was just like a little dot. There was just something that you noticed that, oh, what's that? You think your body is going to heal and whatever. It wasn't even like a cut or a bleeding wound or nothing significant that I could remember. But I just noticed that, oh, the thing is growing. Like it's not going away. It's actually doing the reverse. But I know that it happens with C-section scars, like people who have surgery. That's why, unfortunately, I can't even do anything with like a tummy tuck or all those things. Any procedure that I do is going to turn out like this. So I'd rather not do that, because any extensive surgical incision it will heal to a point where you instead have this to worry about. And you even have people who have piercings. That's why I can do beyond this. I had my ears pierced when I was a kid, and nothing happened, thank God. But I would not even attempt to have another piercing or have another piercing because of the risk of it forming a keloid. So any injury to my body could potentially turn into this. And you don't know which one is going to do that. Certain areas, the chest area is more prominent. You have the earlobes are prominent.
For the men, I think I've seen a few.
Yes. So people who shave, you get a razor bump. And that's all it takes for it to heal, to form that, to heal beyond the borders of that scar, and then just form this huge thing. And it keeps growing. The more you agitate it, the more you rub on it, it just feels like, okay, I need to just heal some more. Heal. It just keeps growing. And as you can see, if you see pictures of before, it wasn't like this. And then at some point, the growth rate starts increasing. So for me, it wasn't an issue until when it started growing too much. And then if it's extending even where like it might cross all the way to that. And then it starts limiting the movement on this area where you feel like your skin is just tight because it's taking over. And the sad truth about it is that if you want to surgically intervene, like take it off, you risk having it come back even worse because you've just created an even bigger incision or wound, a cut that will heal. So if now this is how it is, if this is the length of the cut that you take off, guess what's going to happen? It's going to heal around. So you see, whatever you had was even way better than what you're going to create. So for a long time, most of the time people would treat this by using steroid injections. So you just inject it, just load it up with steroids, and then it just stunts the growth. It actually causes it to kind of reverse more like, and then it's not feeding all the blood, the vessels that is causing that constant growth to happen, and then it automatically just recedes and then flattens. You might see a discoloration around it, and that's how, for the most part, they've treated keloids. But even with that, at times, you still risk coming back, right? So people have tried not to do any kind of surgical intervention, just leave it alone, don't agitate it, don't do any of that. But when it starts growing out of proportion, people tend to try to remove it. And when they remove it, there's always that fear that it will come back. It will come back. So you're constantly looking. It's like, oh, when is it going to happen, right? That stress. But for the most part, there is an extensive, way of looking at it now where the science, that's what we'll
get to that one. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you also, because you talked about it's common with people of
Mm-hmm.
our kind.
Mm-hmm.
So is this supposed to mean it's hereditary?
Yeah, so your genes, they come from your father and your mother. And I
Mm-hmm.
noticed, now that I think about it, I noticed that my dad too had it.
Hmm.
Yeah, my dad had it too. And it also happens even with the white population as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more prevalent with the darker skin tones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you, if your father has it, there's a tendency that you would have it too, depending on how the genes that kind of, you know, how they cross. Just like at times you can have kids, there are four possibilities. It could either be tall, short,
Mm-hmm.
or things like that, different things happening. So whatever, how the matching may happened, and if those defective, just same thing like sickle cell, you know, things like that, where
Is
unfortunately,
this research proven, or you just that's just
yeah,
common sense knowledge?
no, no, this is based on based in research. Yeah, it's not common sense at all.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Because I know my people will just look at it like, okay, 1+1 is 2. There was this family member. Okay, that it's our thing.
Yeah, and it could be resurfacing from way back when. So it could have been recessive at a certain point in the lineage, and then now
Yeah.
it's now dominant. So people don't be pointing fingers just like that. And it could happen that maybe it didn't express itself in your father, and now it's expressing itself with you. Maybe your father could have a cut, and he didn't form a keloid. Because imagine growing up from when I was born till now and not having any keloid at all. So what was happening during that time? And then in my adulthood, now it's expressing itself. Because I think those are the things that we look at. So it depends on the kind of, maybe it's expressing itself, or things are going on as you get older, or things are matching in a kind of way at the level of the gene and things like that. But what I know for sure is that if your parent has it, there's a likelihood that it shows up.
You're going to say something about a 2025 or nowadays treatment or something?
Yeah. So before, you remember I told you that surgery was a known, most of the time was like there's that risk of it coming back with a vengeance, I would say. Because it's going to heal, because the scar you just created now is big. Now it's going to heal even more beyond the borders of that particular incision. That's what happens. So you could have something this small, and it just starts growing even beyond that. And then if you go now and take it off, you just created a disturbance to the skin that has to heal. And guess what the keloid is that excess collagen production that you are prone to produce. Normal healing process is not this. Normal healing will just heal where the wound is, and period. That's it. Flat, nice, and well approximated, and everything is back to normal. The best case scenario, you're even looking for the scar, you can see it. With time, you're growing, your body is constantly rejuvenating, constantly, healing, and just. But guess what? With the keloid, if you're prone to keloids, you would just form excessive collagen, just healing. It's trying to overdo it. So that's just what is happening. So the good thing is it's benign. It's not like a cancer or something, or a tumor that's growing and then it's like can't no. It's just benign. It just does its thing. It just grows. That's it. You're not gonna hear that, oh, it's spreading to my brain, or it's with I have keloids with mets somewhere. No. So it doesn't happen like that. But so surgery was one of the ways that people attempted to address it, because some people don't like to see this. You don't want to wake up in the morning, you want to wear your strapless dress, and that's what's there, and then you keep answering questions. Oh, what's that? So I explained the reason why I'm comfortable with it is I know what it is, and I also have done extensive work on myself not to let something like this affect me or affect my self-esteem. I even use that as a moment to educate and explain what it is. If you don't know what it is, oh yeah, this is what it is. And they'll be like, oh my God. They'll ask all their questions, I'll answer. I'm fine with it. It never bothered me. I never lose sleep at all about it. But of course, the discomfort, it would itch. At times you have some, especially when I say activity is going on there, is growing, maybe something has caused an abrasion, maybe just your dress rubbing on it, the thing might be causing a little bit of abrasion, and then it just heals too much again. So you start feeling this activity there, you feel the stretching, you feel the discomfort around it, pain. It's painful, lightly, slightly. But the one where my bra kind of digs in because it's like resting on it, and then you feel the pain there, and then before you know it, it's just growing even more, and then just blocking the way even more. So those are the discomforts that come with it, and then it itches around the side, and there are times when you're like, okay, what's going on? You scratch it, guess what you just did? You just agitated the site again, and then it just grows even more. So again, it's just something that when it starts growing and crossing and going into places where you end, one of the things that I was told was that especially the area where it is, so it's gonna cause, because when it starts growing all of here, you feel like the skin is tight. Yeah, so it is the motion there, it just kind of takes over. And so for the sake of discomfort, so many people are seeking, surgical intervention or just injected with steroids, or some people use like this scar disappearing tapes, or use like creams that are infused with a lot of steroids. They just apply it constantly. It might take a long time. It just might stunt the growth. It might stop it from growing any further, or cause it to start reducing. Some people use compression. If it's in the earlobe, you use like a compression earring for keloids. They have such a thing. And when you compress it like that, then the growth is stunted. It doesn't have the ability to keep growing. It's gonna like shrink, and then just kind of at times it takes care of that where it goes.
What's the best treatment for now?
So for the longest time, I decided not to intervene. I decided to just leave it alone. But recently, when I noticed that it was growing even further, I had to get a consultation done. And there is this new treatment. Well, it's not new per se. It's new to me. It was new to me. Now, this particular kind of treatment where they go ahead and surgically remove it. Is this surgeon? It's a plastic surgeon. He goes in and removes it. But he came up with a new way of now, when you go, let's say, because they explained this to me, it's a procedure I want to have, right? When you go...
You want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're going to go ahead and take your blood, and then they're going to take the PRPs, they take some components of your blood. Let me put it that way. Let me not use medical terminology. They'll take components of your blood and then prepare something that they're going to inject to the site where it's going to prevent the body from reacting and then start growing again. So he's going to do that the same day after post-op. So goes in there, takes this one out, impregnates it with that, your own PRP. It heal that area. And then you're going to get radiation to the area to prevent it from coming back, or it just kills the growth, any growth potential in that area. So it doesn't come back again. Yeah. I know.
I have a request.
Yes.
Is it possible we come when you go for your surgery? Kind of like record, document everything?
Yeah, that could be a possibility. So I'll just run it by them and see, hey, it's not, that could be a possibility. We can cover it. That would be great, because you never know who you're going to help. You don't know how many people are out there going through, the same thing and facing the same thing and not knowing what to do. And covering it first, and I think that would be great. Let's do it.
Wow.
Are you up for it? Are you up for it?
Yeah, I know I'm not.
But I see your face. Your face is saying something else. So what kind of year was that?
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not really good with things like that. I am.
You gonna pass out?
I don't know yet, but
I'm gonna be asleep though, so I'm not gonna be conscious. Yeah, so that's one thing.
It's not even about you. It's about me seeing all these blades, all these things, and then, man, my imagination sometimes are wired.
I see.
But at least you're a head practitioner, so you're used to these things. And
let me confess, I'm afraid of needles. I'm afraid of this itty bitty needle. So when it's coming, I run. They have to hold me literally to give me a vaccine.
We're here to talk about something else,
right.
And then we end up talking about. But I think it's important. I think it's.
Yes.
I think the conversation was needed.
Yep.
Damn. What would be your message to our community, especially when it comes to things like this, but more specifically keloids?
So with keloid, my message though, the most important thing is that if you have this, don't let anybody body shame you. Don't let anybody make you feel like something is wrong with you. Don't make anybody make you feel like you can't go out. You can't wear the dresses you want to wear. You can't do the things you want to do, because keloids are not self-limiting like that, right? Again, if it's on your face, or if it's in, because there are some people with acne scars that turn into keloids. Oh my God, you're already dealing with acne and then turn around and dealing with keloids from the acne scar. That's like here, or it normally forms around here, back of the neck, like things like that. You have people who are so conscious you can't cover your face. You see, they say easy for you to say because you can wear a turtleneck and nobody will know you have it. But I'm also not afraid to wear anything I want to wear. Like I said, when I go to the beach, I wear a bikini. I wear the things that I have to wear in public. Like the beach is the only place where you can reveal that much because you're at the beach, right? Even like now, I have a V-neck. Sans problem. So don't let anybody body shame you. Don't lock yourself up at home, not going out and socializing the way you're supposed to because you have a keloid. Don't do that, because that will only lead to depression, right? Where you're sitting there thinking that people might not like it, people might not, maybe even people are afraid to be intimate with someone because they're like, they might not want to, like if they touch it, they might feel like what's that? I don't know. But at times, some people are afraid to get intimate or even be in a relationship because they cannot get intimate with someone. They're going to say, oh, what's that? Somebody wants to run their hand around your chest and then there's this thing there. What is that? I don't understand what it is.
I want to run their tongue, not their hand.
So don't let that happen. Don't let that stress come in, because something like this can have significant psychosocial effect. And that's the angle that I look at for me, and I sit up a little bit because it's concerning. You've seen so many people who would not want to go out or do the things they're supposed to do. It brings stress, it brings anxiety, depression, and it's chronic stress. Even post-op, there's some people who intervene and they're constantly worrying that, oh, will he come back? Will he come back? Will he come back? And I know for sure one of the things that I'm very mindful about is that I try not to get any wounds or anything like that. And that's why I say I will never try to do any kind of surgical procedure that is cosmetic, because unless I have to have surgery, maybe it's for a medical reason, then there's no choice. But if it's elective cosmetic surgery, I will not. Maybe I want to have a tummy tuck. I can't, unfortunately. I'll have to hit the gym, because if I try to do a tummy tuck, guess what? I'm going to have a huge keloid running wherever they do, or liposuction. Wherever the needle goes in to go get the fat out, is going to keloid, things like that. I'm causing more damage to my skin. So unfortunately, I'll have to go to the gym. But don't ever let this, if you have keloids, if you're out there and you're struggling with anything, that is on your body, don't let the body shaming get to you. Know that it's no cause of, it's no fault of your own. Having a keloid, it just happens that that's how you heal. The collagen production is just way too much. It overheals. That's how I'll call it. And it's no fault of your own. It's just there. It's not contagious. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't cause anything. It's not. You cannot. If you touch it, you're not gonna get it. You won't. Even if you cut yourself 10 million times, you will not get it. So if it's not the way that you heal as well. So it's not normal to heal like this. The normal healing process is supposed to be just within the area where the cut was or where the injury was. But if you're healing in that way, please do not let it affect you mentally.
Whew. Only fine people. Only the best. Man, I can't believe we had this conversation. I was hoping to talk about something else, especially.
Oh, maybe we can do it. We can talk about it next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you asked me the question, and that was the closest thing, because I couldn't think of anything that anybody has really said that they were trying to make it feel like it wasn't normal, except that comment. But it wasn't. Wow. I'm sure they were coming from a good place. or just admiring my courage, I guess, of flaunting my keloid.
Or they were just wanting to say, man, I saw things, I saw things, I saw things. I just want you to know I saw things.
Yeah, I
Thank you
know.
very much. And go ahead and share the video. Let us know what you think. If you want more information about whatever she talked about, the keloids, maybe you can, first of all, go do your research. I don't want to encourage people to just go and step out on everything. She already has a lot on her plate right now for the community. I want you guys to, yeah, if you have questions, go do your research. If you need clarifications that can only come from her, maybe reach out. She says she's planning to do surgery. Maybe we can fly to Atlanta, document everything, and then maybe bring her back for another interview.
Yeah, post-op, yes.
Yeah, thank you guys very, very much. It was a beautiful one.